He will never fail. His faithfulness is forever sure. His faithfulness is forever sure. We sing that, but when the trial comes, when we face delay, we forget the promisor and the promise. We forget that he that has made the promise is faithful to complete it. For if he has said it, he will do it. If he spoke it, he will bring to pass. Yes. Praise the Lord. You know, church, I know what is delay, you know. Once upon a time, I was illegal in this country. Just give me a bit of time. I have a challenge. I have 20 minutes. I will try to make it. I just want you to see where I'm coming from. There was some time, I'm talking about delay. There was some times I was illegal in this country. So I know what it is to wait for your papers. You see, I didn't come here illegally. I came here legally as a student. At that time, between the Ivory Coast and England, there was no visa. You could come freely. But yet, I took a visa because I wanted, a student visa, because I wanted to do things right. So along the line, my pastor then was working on a project, and I know that you will not mind. He was working on the project with Bishop Hackman. Maybe somebody know him here. He's now Archbishop. I call it Daddy, Granddad. I'm sure you will not mind me to share this testimony. My pastor then was working on a project with Archbishop Hackman, Granddad, Archbishop Hackman. And so they have decided me to help them with administration. So I started working with them. It was most of the things that he is doing now. You know, he started a long time ago working. We were using an office on Barking Road. And then later on, he moved to working from home. He had a study in his house downstairs. So we were working on that project, and the man is a workaholic. How do you say workaholic? It's very strong. And so we would sit until late in the evening working. I was typing school curriculum and all that. And he said one day, why wouldn't you move to he was living in Custom House. He said, why wouldn't you move in Custom House so that to make it easier for you to come and work? I said, okay. So for this purpose, I was living in North London, and I moved in East London. I'm trying to, give you a bit, for you to understand how I enter into that illegality. Praise the Lord. So I moved to East London. So I was moving 2 houses from him. So it was making me easier to work for me. So it was a project for the kingdom. And later on, they said, why not changing your visa for a worker visa for the church? And at that time, Bishop Hackman, whatever he sent to the Home Office, came back positively. He was helping a lot of people. So I didn't find any problem with that. And I said, okay, fine. So I have accepted, and they applied to the Home Office for me, and bearing in mind that I had a valid visa. I was a student. So we sent the application to the Home Office, and lo and behold, it came back with a negative answer. It was refused. They did everything, but it was refused. And if your visa, if you apply for a different status and it is refused, you cannot revert back to your original status, meaning that I couldn't go back to my student visa. So that's how I became illegal. And you can imagine how bitter I was. I said, God, but this was for your kingdom. So why would I find myself, and I was so bitter with my pastor and with Bishop Hackman. I said, you people, I didn't ask you to change my visa. Just revert, give me back my student visa. I was so bitter. So I started visiting solicitors and all that. And it was all, they couldn't help me. And then one day I heard about one that they said he was very good, a particular lawyer that was very good. So when I went to see that lawyer, he said to me, when he took my passport, you see, when they gave me, you know, you go and see somebody for help. And there again, when I went to see that lawyer, he took my passport and he started laughing at me. He started laughing at me. Why? Because when they gave me 28 days to leave this country. And so when they gave me the refusal, I don't know what they used, a ruler or they applied for, they put a cross, they crossed my existing visa. They put a line across it. So it was so thick that when you turn the pages, about 5 or 7 pages after, you can see the line. So he was laughing at me and he said that, oh, the person who gave you that refusal at the Home Office must have been very angry. And so he said, anyway, there was nothing I can do for you. And that was the person that I was recommended. That was my last resort. So from that, I went home and I decided to be in the, you know, in the hiding. Bear with me. So I started being in hiding. I was still doing the thing that I was doing. You know, I was working. I didn't use any other name. I was using my name. If I go to work,